Nipa and you are welcome to Canvas and Conversations. This is a platform for creatives, and today with me I have Kobby Shots, who is an inspiration to a lot of the young ones in the creative space. So I would want Kobby Shots to tell us a little bit more about himself. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So thank you first of all for having me here. It's actually
You're welcome.
an honor. And I had to actually make it here on such short notice, even though I was told before. But I mean, yeah, if anyone would say who Kobby Shots is, probably would say he's a photographer, filmmaker, YouTuber. You know, I do almost everything in the creative space where it has to do with cameras. All right, so I'm most often behind the cameras, creating live action and stuff like that. And I've really enjoyed the journey. And I've, yes, typically inspired a lot of people who wanted to join the wagon. And they are doing amazingly well as well. I see them day and day, you know, putting out great work on social media and all. So, yeah, I would say that I encompass almost everything under the jurisdiction of photography and filmmaking. And yeah, I'm still in it and I'm enjoying myself.
Beautiful. So, actually, talk about journey. What's that one work or one piece of art that you created that made you feel like, no, this is what I'm meant to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of them, but there's this very one that sticks out the most. Dating back, all right, before I even had my camera, I got a chance to watch a couple of videos on YouTube, but I was introduced to how to even download videos to learn later on by a couple of friends in school. I was new to YouTube, I was just researching as a student of chemistry, reading communication design. So as I was doing that, I got to understand that photography was more than just what I was learning in school. I could actually foster the practice by doing things on my own, at my own pace and all that. I found out that I was really learning faster and faster as I watched the videos. And I decided to just try something out after I watched a tutorial. I was new to gels, colored gels, right?
Okay.
Those that, you know, give light, etc. So in photography, of course, when you start out, you're using speed lights and all that. So I had a friend who had a flash as well. He was also in my class, and we planted our lights. So the key light, of course, the softbox, on octabox, yeah, that's how we used to call them, as a key light. Then I had rim lights, all right, with colored gel. So one was blue, one was red. And
so did you have an idea about all these techniques or whatever?
Yeah,
or you were just creating.
So I had understood something about creating content where you want to actually section your light towards one subject, where if you have an audience watching or looking at your work, they would know what to look at first. So you should highlight something. Right. So that was what I was trying to do, where I would bring my subject out of the background, because I was working with one key light, and so I needed it to project my subject and bring her out of the background. The background was dark. So to be able to do that, I needed to bring in something that could actually carve and create that three-dimensional figure in front of the dark background that if I didn't have them, she would have sunk into. So those lights from left and right back there, with the color gels, the blue and the red ones, was what I actually had access to. So I was just trying out what I'd learned, what I'd seen, yeah. So that was the process.
More like make proper use of what you have.
Yeah, you always maximize what you have, because that wasn't the only thing I had learned. And I was just trying out a couple of things. And to tell you, when I took that picture, it was more of like, should I say it was taken by accident, or should I say it was a blessing of a photograph, because most often than not, I'll try different configurations before I arrive at something I really like. But this picture just did it for me there and there. Immediately I planned it. I don't know whether it was because we had already taken a couple of pictures, and so the exposure, the settings were just right, and we just positioned my subject there, took the picture, and it just did it right, and I loved it. And it felt like it wasn't something I was going to be able to easily do it if I should move away to a different space and set things out. It was just a beautiful piece, and it's one thing that I'll always remember and never forget.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I believe in all this, there's still something that keeps you going. There's still something that increases your love for this work, because I don't think if you don't have a love for it or whatever, you can still be creating and all of that. So what's that one thing that keeps you going?
First of all, it's my passion. Because when I started photography, I had to just satisfy academic requirements. So I was in school. It was one of the courses I was learning. So,
okay.
I had to just finish assignments and all. But what actually sparked the passion in me was when I realized I could actually learn, apply, and come to think of it, after second semester, the long vac, when we came back from the long vac, I had taken my time to watch a whole set of videos that teaches you from basic photography all the way to the lenses.
Okay.
So you just understand everything. And it forces you to shoot without external lights or artificial lights. So it's all the sun. So it was more like, a learning curve.
The biggest softbox.
You get what I'm saying? It's free, but it's difficult to learn, you know. And when I watched those videos and I came back to school, third year, first semester, in fact, I was amazed by myself. My colleagues were also amazed because, like, you just went back home and all of a sudden you understand photography that much. And you know, before we were trying to escape and skip class, skip lectures and all that, but now it's photography and I just want to go there and just present and show what I know and what I've learned. And you see, it all boils down to passion. If I didn't have the passion for this, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And you know, sometimes you can have the passion, but if you don't see yourself progressing, it can also distract or discourage you. But I think my passion fueled what was inside me, which I think is something that I feel like this is what I was destined to do for some reason, because everything I create with a camera comes out, I look at it, it's more of like a piece that has myself in it. And it tells me to do more because I can always do more, because there's always something new that you can incorporate in what you're learning. Okay. And I always find myself bettering myself with every work I do, day in and day out, as it progresses. So it's passion. Passion is what has kept me going. Yeah.
Wow. But do you think passion is enough to keep you going?
Of course. I mean, we are all looking forward to getting paid at the end of the day, right? Yeah, but first of all, if that were to be the case, here in our space, I have friends abroad. They also do this. They do photography. They should tell you how much you charge for even weddings. You think what you're doing is just a waste of time. You're basically wasting your time over here. But
talking about weddings, we still shoot weddings.
Oh yeah, I mean rarely, because there's some people you can't say no to them.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
they
true.
come to you and it's just like friends and family. You can't say no, because I mean, after all, weddings are fun. However, our tradition doesn't allow photographers to fully take their time to unravel their creativity.
The timing and all.
The time constraints are too much. If you're not even careful, you lose your equipment, you won't get them around, you get them damaged, you know, it might get stolen. There are a lot of things because you are always in a rush to make sure you meet the time. And so most of the time that you realize you've forgotten your equipment back in the hotel room or somewhere.
And you always don't have enough time to shoot exclusives.
That's the thing, you know. So that's the reason why I don't fancy weddings as I used to before. It was just a means to an end to actually venture into what I really want to do. Which I think I'm still happy doing that. Yeah. So I rarely shoot weddings, but I still do though.
I see. Beautiful. So talking about that, what's your creative process like from idea to the final product? What would you say is like?
Okay, it has almost always been myself. I always be behind my computer to look at a couple of reference materials listed on Pinterest. Sometimes from work that I've done in the past. So the ideation process starts from, you know, of course I can stick, you know, images on a board, call it mind mapping. So I just put them together, piece them together, say this from this step I move to that step. I want to do this. That was in the past, but nowadays I don't do that manual process. I'd rather do that mapping either in my head, or you know, I do that in a computer. And then,
have you ever done storyboards?
Yeah, I used to do that for my films. I used to. It doesn't mean that I most often shoot my films myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I shoot my films myself all alone. So yeah, and you know, the storyboards part of it. it's a very integral part, very big part that I think filmmakers and photographers online should actually pay attention to, because it keeps you on the on the rail. Because if you decided to go in this particular direction, using a storyboard keeps you there and guides you, so that you don't derail, you don't misguide yourself. Yes. So storyboards are very important, but I mean, sometimes clients demand it, so you got to put it together, send it over to them. Sometimes they call it the concept. Yes. So you send it over to them, they look at it. I normally deliver that in the PDF documents. They see that if they have anything to add on or subtract, do that before we start working. Yeah.
I see. So myself being a creative, I know that sometimes the most difficult part of this whole thing is when to feel that, oh, this work is complete. You always feel like there's something you can add to whatever work you are creating. Most of the times when the work is personal.
Yeah.
So when do you feel that, no, this work is done, like it's a complete work? When do you feel that?
Maybe I can answer this two ways. If it's for a client, it's when the client is satisfied. But it's for myself.
No, let's look at yourself.
Okay. If I'm looking at it from my perspective, it's actually a work that I'm doing for myself. It only gets done when I upload it. Because from there, I don't revisit it or I don't improve it to post it again. I would rather post it if maybe there was an error. But anytime I create something, to be very frank with you, as a creative, you are always yearning towards perfection. And if you are not careful, you find yourself not creating enough.
Yeah.
Because you're always trying or striving for perfection and you never get that perfection.
Yeah.
You need to train yourself to just agree that this is done. I'm okay with it. Let's move forward.
Have you been in a situation when you post something and you later go delete it, rework on it, post it, delete it? Have you ever been in a situation?
It's happened before. Sometimes you just look at something, and these things are things that most often your audience don't even notice. Because you're the creative, you see it, maybe there's a fringe, maybe you took a picture with a very fast lens and you have these purple fringes there, which you could have differentiated in, let's say, Lightroom, but maybe you forgot. But the audience don't necessarily see it unless they are actually photographers who actually pay attention to that. But as a creative, maybe that thing can be a turn off for you, so you want to recall it and put it back up. But I mean, it happens. It happens to all of us. We always want that thing to just make sense. The work should be something we look back at 2 years from now and still be proud of. Yeah. So it's happened to me once or twice or thrice. Yeah. I'll delete it and repost after I'm very satisfied.
I think it happens to me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we're all critics, so I mean, these are things. Yeah, these are things that happen.
So, do you ever experience creative blocks? And how do you deal with them when you experience such?
Okay. Yeah. As a creative, I always do. Yeah. Always. I don't lie, because there's a point where you get to that you feel if you're not careful, complacency might set in. It's like, this is a style that everybody has accepted. And if you do most of your work for clients, your clients may like your work because they saw it, and so if you do something for them, they'll be satisfied. But you might be looking forward to creating better, trying to arrive at better results. And in that process, you might want to sit down and think through and try to push your limits. And in that process, you might hit a block where, in my experience, whenever I get to that point, I have to recoil, take my time. I have to turn off the computer. Sometimes it can be because of fatigue. I may be tired. So I just have to, rest a little while, get back at it. I don't know if you've also considered this as something that has to do with creatives, because you can be working on something, you're okay with it at this instance. You go to sleep, you wake up the following morning, you come back to it and you realize that, there's something that doesn't make this thing look right. You always have to.
It almost looks like you wake up with a different eye every time.
Yes. And with different eyesight, different vision to see what you're looking at.
That's true.
And the creative blocks, they come in a lot of ways. Like I said, it could be fatigue, Secondly, it could be maybe the strive towards something that you want to create. You know, sometimes you can envision something that is in your head, it's just in your head. You want to put it together, but you just can't seem to know where to start from. So anytime that happens, what I do is I recoil, I rest. You know, take a snack, drink something, you know, just nourish yourself and cool down. If you need to take a nap, do that. Get back at it and, you know, fresh ideas will come through. Otherwise, you can incorporate other ideas from external, you know, sources. You can seek inspiration from the internet. You can look at other creatives that you admire their work. I do that myself, you know, or I speak to other creatives. That's why it's very important that you join in on these workshops and all that, because you network and you get to know people in person, those that you've met, sometimes the people that you've seen their works, you know, hovering around on social media. Look at works and it gets you inspired. It gives you that click that you can actually continue from where you got blocked. Yeah. So I do that.
I see. So speaking about inspiration, do you create through inspiration or you create through discipline? Is it always that you are inspired to create, or sometimes there's no inspiration but you have to discipline yourself to create?
I don't think I do just one. It may be both. Depending on how the kind of project it is, what I'm looking at or what I'm trying to achieve. With this particular question, I have to tackle it very holistically because, you know, when I am looking at being inspired to do something, it's probably because I've watched something. Maybe it's a film, I just see it.
Okay.
I can create this. Because I'm a filmmaker, you know, when I watch movies, it's very difficult to watch movies.
Yeah.
Because a movie that will take, let's say, an hour and a half to finish, I'll finish it in 4. So if you're sitting next to me, you might not find it very interesting to sit down with me and watch a movie, because I'll always go back, how did they do this? This camera movement, how was it achieved? I'll just be wondering how they did this. Okay, now I don't have this kind of gear. Maybe I got a chance to know who directed or who directed the photography. So if, let's say, I got a chance to know, or for some reason I found out who did it, I can look at behind the scenes and see what exactly the equipment was that they used. Okay, so let's say they use a crane or they use a dolly or something. What can I do with what I have? I have, let's say, a gimbal. So if the camera movement goes in a particular way, I can use the gimbal to mimic. I will try my best to achieve it. Yes, and that's where the part where I'm inspired by what I see and what I want to create. You know, I read wide as well. I don't section myself or make my width of reading acute. I open wide, and I'm actually very open-minded. I listen to a lot of stuff. You know, it might perhaps not be necessarily morally right to listen to certain things, but I like to also listen from the other perspectives from other people, because they could be giving you an idea. Because with films, I may not be a Muslim. However, if I'm creating a film about Islam, I should research and know why they do something, and not to enrich them when I create something that is falsified. You understand? So I get inspired to work on the things that I do. And the discipline, I mean, sometimes you just need to do it. You have to quickly do it. Maybe you are running out of time. You need to get the thing done right in there. And maybe perhaps you've hit a creative block as well. I have no inspiration. Sometimes, I mean, like I said, if you're always yearning for perfection, you might not get your work done. So sometimes the work could be looked at a second time or different. But if you're running out of time, you feel like what you've done through your experience, what you've created is okay. I think I would rather advise you to move on. Maybe you raise it next time when you have a fresh idea or something. But if, for instance, for a client, I think once you send it to a client, the client's okay with it. Move forward and create something. Because when you create for yourself, you have a different idea towards it. Because you can create something, send it to the client looks at it and they want it in a different way. Sometimes it really hits you hard. Because you know this is the way forward, but why are you wanting me to do it this way? You know, so when you're creating for them, just create for them. Send it to them. They are going to have the finance of the project. Of course, you're getting paid for it. So once you send it to them, they like it, you're good to go. Just move forward. So get inspired to create, and also when it comes to the point where you need to push out and finish the work, just finish the work. Yeah. That's what I live by.
That's nice. But I believe discipline will also play a very major part, because sometimes especially when you have a creative block, you might never feel to create, and it might take you a very long time before you get out of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think disciplining yourself to create is also a thing that you should look at. Yes. So what is that one work? What's that one work that almost didn't exist, but now you look at it and you are so proud of it?
Okay. I wouldn't say there's just one. There's not just one. So, I mean, many a time we create content. Let's say, for instance, we are uploading them onto social media, let's say Instagram, and over time you haven't really looked back at them. Sometimes you forget what you've created in the past because you're looking forward to what you can create next. There was a particular day I remember I had to go way back to look at certain projects I had done to show somebody that this was my process. So if you check my Instagram page, you realize that things I did in 2015 are still there. I never deleted it. Alright? There's this particular work I made for a client. It was very dicey because we're shooting on a rooftop. That was my first actual experience in shooting on a rooftop, and it's just the sky. And I just took it. I didn't really see what was in there that would make me enticed. So I just took it. I mean, we were always looking for it, but I went back at it and I noticed that this is a fashion project that I created. The lady is actually standing on, a bridge. It's just the backyard, of a couple of houses. It's just a grungy environment. But the model is wearing this headgear that makes her look like Cleopatra or something. I mean, it has this kind of look to it. And she's standing on a bridge, and it was just something I just shot it. But I looked back at it last time and I was like, wow, this is something that's really interesting because you know where the lighting is coming from. Now I understood lighting better, and I was like, yeah, I mimicked the sun. Now there's another light coming from this direction. It makes sense why I did it this way. Because before, I wouldn't be able to explain why I put the light here or put it that way. So it's a particular way that for you. It just felt right there. But now it's more conceptual. I can explain why I did it this way. Now it makes more sense to me.
And that's good.
It's something that I can still use today to actually inspire somebody because it's not time bound at all. It's really timeless.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's I believe you've tried so many things and you failed at a couple of them. So what's your favorite failure so far?
This happened I think 4 or 5 years ago when I got the chance to jump on Zion Felix's music video. There was this wave, Kumerica. That was really prevalent.
I think I remember that.
The era, they were doing a lot of drill songs and stuff like that. So I remember Zion Felix posted something on Instagram. There was a notice that, do you know any good video director in Kumasi? Tag him. Or her. I remember it was just tag him. So I was there. I got a lot of tags like that. I didn't know what it was. So I clicked on it and I noticed that people were mentioning my name. I went to look it up and I noticed it was Zion Felix who had put a notice up there. People were tagging me. I read it and I noticed that it was something about a music video. So the wave was really strong that Zion Felix wanted to leave Accra to come to Kumasi and interview most of the artists who were doing drill, especially the Azaka boys. And we did a music video. He had recorded that it comprised a lot of artists, a lot of them. Amrando, Sekrim Skeni, YP, Lowen, a ton of them. So we shot it over 2 days. The first day was in Kumasi, and we drove ourselves to Accra the following day to complete the rest. And can you imagine? There was just one artist. I won't mention his name for
That's fine.
Obvious reasons. It took us 2 weeks to get him to just complete the video. Then, when we were done, I went back. And of course, after I shoot, I take a bit of days off to rest.
That's important.
I don't know what happened. I lost most of the files.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was one very evening. I was just sitting there. I was ready to go edit. And this is funny. I had already put together behind the scenes on my personal channel that people were looking forward to the video.
Yeah, that might be a big blow. Oh.
And the truth about the whole fast forward is, I couldn't even get some of them. There was Kokumenu and another lady, Sugar TTS.
Okay.
Couldn't get them back. I lost those files in addition. And it was a very big blow. And I don't know, I believe it was negligence, because it wasn't that I couldn't purchase another external hard drive to back it up, but it was more of like, I thought, yeah, this is something that I wouldn't lose.
Oh.
The files are there. And it really hit me because I had to, first of course, when I informed them, it was disappointed.
Definitely, most definitely.
I had to go back to Accra. Spent almost 1,000 cedis on just that. Luckily for me, I didn't incur cost on the side of the artists.
Okay.
They were all understanding because I had to explain to them exactly what happened. And yeah, I could get it, just that we lost some files that involved Zion Felix himself in Kumasi, standing there in the shots and all that. They were very beautiful shots, I love that. And something that always prompts me that when they're going to do something, make sure you have backup.
Yeah, backup.
Then it was the HDDs and all that, SD cards. When you're done with it, you offload them to the HDD. And those ones are not as strong and reliable as the SSDs that I use nowadays. So it's something I feel that taught me a very big lesson. I mean, I have a similar story in the side of weddings, but there's one that really hit me hard because I saw this as a very big step in my journey towards my filmmaking, career. And imagine getting such a huge opportunity to work with a cluster of A-list artists, and this happens. Luckily for me, I was able to recover most. Yeah, not recover them as in the files I lost, but I had to go reshoot most of them, and I learned from it. Even Zafax even made a video up there, and he explained a couple of things because I think it delayed a little bit because of that.
Okay.
And he had to come explain, So I would say I feel that because as a creative and as a business, oriented person, you shouldn't do things that will put your clients' hard work at risk. Something I've learned from.
I see. So, do you sometimes experience self-doubt? You doubt yourself sometimes?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I do. Sometimes I sit down and I even think about that. Is this something that I really wanted to do? Is this something that's right for me? Not because I don't have highlights in my career, things I've achieved. I've achieved a couple of them. In fact, including awards as well. Just that sometimes I sit down and I was like, I'm supposed to be able to do more. Why is it that I'm still stuck in this space? I'm shooting movies. The movies are good. Yeah. In my perspective, or in my regard.
They're good. I've seen a couple of them.
People see it, they like it too. However, it's like, they're not really giving me that, that sort of response that they will give to the, in quotes, the already established filmmakers or actors who are not necessarily doing anything in my regard better than I am. So sometimes it hits me hard. It's very painful.
I know how that feels.
So sometimes I tell myself that maybe there's something I'm not doing right. Sometimes you sit down and you do it, and a few people, maybe this work, you do work A, people love it. Work B doesn't get that kind of traction. Work C gets it. Work D might not. Work E still might not, and you are sitting there thinking, should I do something else? Then you do it again and it works out. So it tells you that maybe it's always gonna be that one work or that one particular project that you put in your heart and push it all the way. Because as a creative, there isn't any way that you can say I'm reducing my productivity because probably I'm not paid enough for this. It's something in it. That's how you do it. Yeah. So it's second nature.
Yeah, but as a creative, I don't think there should be a time when you don't put in your best, because you never know the work that will put you out there. Yes. Sometimes the ones that you're not even expecting to make the numbers done. The ones you have like so much faith in.
That's what I think sometimes you don't. For the most part, don't be overly expectant. Mm-hmm. If you are expecting something and you don't get it, that's where you get discouraged, or your spirit dampens. But if you just put something in and you just keep your fingers crossed, you don't know how it will turn out. Just put in your best. make sure that this one that you've done yourself, you have that self gratification. Like, this is something I love. Okay, this is good. This is better than what I did previously. Just put it out there. You definitely accumulate the audience who see your work like you do, and over time, yeah, you get them to invest other people to also come like your work. Because people get influenced. It's just like me watching a particular film. Maybe you might not know who the actor is, but just because I watch the actor, I've introduced that actor to you, that Charlie, this guy's really good. Check him out. Then you go watch him. You paid attention just because I said it. Yeah. So I mean, over time, people who would love your work, who would see your work with the same spectacle that you see that your work with, would also, progressively invest other people around them, influence them to come like your work. That's how it works. Yeah.
That's true. So what's that something or that piece of work that you haven't created yet, but you think you need to create?
Yes. I have a lot of films that I've written, like scripts. Initially, I had someone writing my scripts for me, but now it looks like I have to do most of it myself because I'm the one producing it, and so I know what my needs are. Yes, and the resources I have.
Yeah.
Yes, whether human resource or material resource.
No, you don't have a playing scene in your work when you know you can't.
Going to the airport, even getting access. I remember one of our A-list actors tried his best to get Ghana Aviation to just approve of, a scene that included an aeroplane. They didn't agree. They refused. They refused to allow him to do that. I mean, those things are very. I mean, in Ghana, it looks like they are superficial. I know there are processes that you have to go through to be able to achieve something like that. Of course, yeah. I mean,
but should it be that hard?
Maybe the right process wasn't what was, embarked on. Probably, because if the right processes are known and you use those methods or those channels, I'm pretty sure you will be approved as long as it falls within the policies and their principles. Because of course, you go ahead if it's something that doesn't infringe on their policies. Why not? And if those materials are there and authorities actually have a way that you can get approved by, why don't you go to that channel? It shouldn't be hard. I mean, there's always a way. Of course, there have been films produced in Ghana that you saw.
There'll always be a way, but
there's always.
I don't think it's even that easy to get it done. Even going through the process that you have to go through.
It wouldn't always be easy. Of course, sometimes you need to know somebody.
Because personally, I think I had a script that's had an airplane scene in it. But
why did you put it together when you had no idea you were going to be?
I didn't write it. I didn't write a script.
Oh, okay.
So that's how.
You see, that's another thing too. That's the reason why sometimes I find myself writing my scripts or writing my stories, because if you have someone doing it, these people, or should I say, generally, human beings have this superficial thinking. Okay, I want this to happen. I want my film to come out as the best. So even though they don't have access to those resources, they'll just put it down.
Let's put it down.
But they know that someone's going to produce it.
Just to fill the script, make it look very nice and all that.
It'll work for a novel, maybe a book that you're publishing. But for a film, you don't have those things. So I mean, there are a lot of projects, even horror films, that I don't have those resources yet, but I have them there that I want to create. I see that I can do this, just that I'm not fully equipped yet. Yeah, in terms of finances and producing films are
very expensive,
extremely, and it's a risk. It's a very big risk. It's not just a risk because you are buying a camera that might fall into water, that you might risk dropping it or something. It doesn't just end there. But you are bringing people on board. Their safety is important.
Yeah.
The story. How well is it written? How well are the actors going to act them? How long are you going to stay there on set to ensure all these things are done, the pre-production part? Now, when it gets to the production, you're going to spend money on the production, the crew, everybody there, welfare. When you are done, promotion. Then when the promotion is done, of course, before promotion, probably even before the entire process, you're going to pay your actors. Look at all these things. They are all dicey. It's like you're in a casino and just betting and betting and betting. You don't know if you might get lucky or not. now comes out and is not received right, of course, I mean, when you're working on the next one, you go way lower. And probably
it dampens your spirit.
yeah, and probably you might have as well stopped all in total, because you might not put in your soul and your heart, because now the avenue that people create their content on, or where they see as their last resource, is YouTube most of the time. You know, A-list actors, they just put it up. Producers are putting it up. And now and YouTube is not a place where strict measures for the type of cameras that
the quality of a work, yeah.
As long as you put something people like to watch it, they're good to
That's fine with them.
You know, it's a way to cut corners. But we, the passionate producers or creative-minded persons, we find it difficult to do mediocre, stuff. However, looks like you are forced to do them, because if you don't, you're wasting so much money. And mediocre can be relative. Someone's mediocrity might not be mine.
Yeah.
Probably what I'm even doing is mediocre to somebody. You know what I'm trying to say? It's relative.
Most definitely.
It's relative. So, I mean, there's always something that I can do that could be because of constraints in surrounding maybe the resources I have. I know I'm actually up for more and I can do more. The moment I get the means, of course, I'll put it in the work.
But I believe it's pretty good having the scripts there. I think it keeps you motivated, right?
Yes.
But
make it realistic enough.
Yeah, it has to be realistic.
Yeah.
But I mean,
unless you're looking at the long term.
I mean, yeah.
A long term.
In the long term, I mean, like having the funds to create the kind of work you want to create. Yeah, I think. And probably maybe moving forward, we might get a little help in that aspect.
Hopefully. You get someone who can finance something or help you out. Until then, just hopeful and keep on creating what we can. Yeah.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
But looking at you from let me say a creative who is coming up, or someone who needs an inspiration to get creating, and you saying that sometimes you doubt yourself and all that, it's really a difficult thing to believe, because
Really?
you see, sometimes when you sit back there and you look at you, I mean, I'm not you looking at you, but I mean someone looking at you, we see that you are putting out a whole lot of work, like the quality is there, you get it, and we see that, oh, this guy is not even looking for any motivation. He is there. We see you to be there, and here you are telling us sometimes you have doubts. It's strange.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, a lot of people see me as like, Kobby, you're doing well. Like, I'm doing well, but I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to see. See, I'm the one who cries behind closed doors. I'm not literally, but I mean, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you.
It's like, nah, I should be able to do better. I watch Hollywood films. I love how they do it. You see, here in Ghana, it's not just the cameraman there. People think they can act because they have content on TikTok, and a lot of people say, you're doing that. Compare their acting skills to the Hollywood films you watch.
Yes, there's so much difference.
Very vast difference. And imagine, as a filmmaker who's so conscious about everything in a film, of course, you're going to handle the camera. Or even if you have a team doing that, you want to ensure that this person's doing right, that person's doing right, and all that. It puts so much toll on you. You go back to the editing bench, then you see those mistakes. How would you feel? But when I put them out there, I do my best to fine-tune those errors as much as I can, to make them difficult to notice. Some people would notice, however, it's something that we can just allow to fly over your head. But I'm the only one who sits behind them. I'm looking at them, I could have done this better. Better. So that's what I mean by that. Because people feel that what they see over there is kind of like it's applaudable, but
I feel there's more that
I feel there's something that's missed. There's something I can do. But I look at people abroad and their equipment. I've been able to cross that threshold of not believing that it's because I don't have the equipment. So. Because I know that I can push myself forward. However, there are other resources that without them, you might not be able to cross that bridge. You'll be doing something good, something reasonably good that people will see and still love. However, there's a step that you can go where you see other creatives even owning such or having access to such resources, and they're not doing their best in your regard. You see what I'm trying to say? So I'm always maximizing what I can do. And people see it and I love it, which I totally appreciate. Don't get me wrong. I totally appreciate it. The fact that people say it makes me feel that, okay, maybe I'm being too hard on myself.
Yeah,
I should probably ease down a little bit and just follow the program and continue. However, I feel like sometimes I have a clock ticking. I need to quickly do something, quickly put something out and move on to the next. I'm doing so many things at the same time. Handling 2 YouTube channels. One is already monetized. The other, struggling too hard because, you create the films, spend so much money. But it gets to the time where you have to push it, the artists are not pushing it. So how does it get to the few Ghanaian populace that we are all fighting with against the Nigerians who have a population of over 200 million? And we are fighting with them over this scanty number of audience, and they are not even seeing your work. How would you feel? Yet still, look at some of my work. You compare them to the YouTubers, the Nigerian youth big names making all those millions of views over the compare my work in terms of the principles and the camera configurations, the lighting configurations. It's really that I'm not too far behind.
They are doing a lot.
I'm not too far behind, but why? You get what I'm trying to say? That's really pushes.
Yeah, so that's where the doubt comes from.
Yes, it gets there. And that's what makes me feel like, there's something probably missing. I'm not up for that.
You need to find a cornerstone.
It's not easy. There's always been I think every creative has his or her, challenges. Someone's might not be this. But I feel like we all go through this process where it's like, I think I can do better.
Yeah. So, talking about the Hollywood space, and then the way the actors even take their work seriously, sometimes they need to starve themselves for a certain number of days to get in shape for a particular character. Do you actually consider that in your characters when you are shooting, like the people you use for your shooting? Do you consider their physique? Sometimes maybe they have to go through a certain training before they qualify for a particular role. Do you consider that?
Yeah, I do, as much as I can. However, of course, coming back down to where we come from, filmmaking in terms of making movies, it's not something that Ghanaians actually fancy so much, creating it. I would love to watch it, which when it's good, of course, but creating it. So if you want somebody to put themselves through an ordeal to get to a particular shape, it's going to cost you a lot of money.
You need to show the box.
You need to pay to get someone, even something as simple as getting them to shave their hair all the way, which of course they will grow them back, but of course it's not something they can just budge. You are going to have to spend a lot of money. So I think it's because creating movies is not something that's actually regarded as something here, as something substantial in our region where we come from. So when I'm making movies, what I do is I cast according to those that I have access to. So my stories are all resonating around what I have access to. So I can look at somebody, okay, I like how you act. I've done something with you before. Okay, I know you can do this and that. Then I'll write a story that fits you as a character.
I see.
So I'm always inspired by what I have access to.
So it's more like you mostly build around the character.
I build around the person.
The person, I mean.
And how well they act and how versatile their skill set is.
Okay.
I use that to write. So it makes it easy and reduces the production time when we are working.
But I think you would have it easy since you can also write your own scripts. But in a case when probably you are not a script writer or you can't write a script, I think it will be much difficult.
Much difficult because you'll be relying on other stories and you'll be compelled to go according to what the script says. So if you don't have access to the right people, you always put your stories back there and you delete it until you get them. It really blocks lots of progress. So yeah.
So what will you say to someone who is waiting for an inspiration or a motivation to create? Because I believe you need to be motivated before you inculcate the habit of discipline. Mm-hmm. So what do you have to say to someone who is waiting for a motivation or an inspiration to create, what do you have to say to them?
If they don't want to move forward, they can continue it. Of course, that's what I would say. Because today it's easy to find inspiration. Sometimes you can get inspiration by watching a film, depending on what you want to create. Even designers, talking about fashion designers, can watch a film and see something that was inspired by a costume that one actor probably wore.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you don't find inspiration in what you see around you every day, then perhaps you are probably not
Meant to do that.
meant to do what you do because you don't see it.
Yeah.
Because everything inspires us. The moment I look at you, I know where the light is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like how the light looks like. So it means if I'm creating my own set or something, and I want my lighting configuration to be like you, or what I'm seeing right now, I just have to put it together like this.
Yeah.
I came through, I looked at your lighting setup and all that. I could just readily see that, okay, cool. That black thing is supposed to absorb all the light and block the lights.
Yeah.
It's in the background. That flag around the bulb or our light source is not enough.
Yeah.
It's still translucent. So a bit of light can hit it. You know, all these things inspire me. I look at, okay, cool, this is why I do this. This is why I do that. Sometimes most critics will see something and they are just guessing, or they did this one. They wouldn't be able to guess right. So I mean, what I would say to the youngsters coming up now, if you are looking for inspiration and you're still waiting, just read a book, watch videos, if you are aspiring to be a very good photographer, fashion photographer, whatever discipline under photography you want to be, watch YouTube videos based on that topic. And you realize that certain creatives or certain content creators on YouTube create something that makes how they teach, how they tutor is quite feasible for your style of comprehension.
Yeah.
So once you follow those people, you realize that you're going to be mimicking a bit of things that they do. And so over time, you come to realize that you're trying to create something like what that person did. In that process, you learn a lot because you wouldn't get a chance to have him one-on-one to ask him, why did you do this or how did you do that? Or you're just mimicking. And I did that before. I looked up at one particular creator's work and I saw, okay, that's why I could tell that there's greens in the blacks, there's reds in the blacks. The highlights look like it has a tint of blue that I'm going to introduce to color balance in Photoshop. Push this, push that. Okay, I see that here. Okay, though I don't want it to happen to the background, but just the eyes. Then I had to learn about masking. Then I'll go clean it away from there.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired by what I saw. If I look at the picture, I interpret, I determine the colors I can see there. So a layperson, the person will see black, green in the hair. They'll see, oh, the hair is black. But I can see that there's greens in there. Because I understand how these things work.
That's true.
And it inspires me to just create. So as a mimic, I become better. Yeah. So that's the inspiration part of the whole thing I can tell, the youngsters that if you want to get better, if you want looking for inspiration, read a book, watch videos, watch movies, whatever discipline that you're looking at, watch videos on that topic on YouTube. Now it's easy.
Yeah.
There in the past, you only have to go to the library to find that.
Yeah.
You might only just get lucky. But with YouTube, a lot of content creators out there creating something that you think is your own. You are the only one who has been able to see the idea. No idea is fresh. Someone has done it before. Research, you figure it out. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. So there's so much inspiration not to be inspired. So lastly, looking at your life and your creative journey, and imagining it as a documentary, what would you title it?
I'll name it The Journey to Greatness. Trust me. Because all I see is greatness in what I do. That actually inspired the name of my production house.
Yeah.
And I always had this tagline that I think I still even have it on my profile on WhatsApp, that I'm destined for greatness. Whatever it is I do, I know for sure that if one person looks at it and says, encouraging words or says sweet words towards it, tells me that I'm doing something, or I'm actually put a foot in the right direction. So I'll name it The Journey to Greatness because I'm still on it. I haven't arrived, but I see it. That will happen.
Very true. I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll definitely meet at the top.
We'll all meet together.
Yeah.